Hey y'all, welcome back to Mama Loves Manga. So today I'm really excited to be talking about a series that I had heard of and overlooked for a while because I wasn't sure if I was going to be interested. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but now I'm so glad that I read it, and that is After Hours by Yuhta Nishio. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. That was weird. I'm going to start off this chat with my thoughts on the art because that was the main reason I was a little hesitant to read this. Just from the cover, you can probably... The heck is upside down? Are you upside down? Oh my gosh, it's upside down. It's been upside down this whole time. This cover is a pretty accurate indication of what the art on the inside looks like, and as you can probably see, the characters look very young. So because they look pretty young, I was a little bit hesitant. I did turn around and read the back of the book and found out that the characters, at least one of the characters, is 24. So I think that is a big reason why I ended up going ahead and picking it up, because I knew that the intent of the mangaka was to have these characters be adults, and I appreciate that so much. So anyway, getting into the actual art. The art does not take away from the story at all. It actually enhances it, and it helps you to see the characters' personalities a little bit more. There aren't any scenes in here that really stand out and make me go, oh my gosh, this mangaka, oh, their style is so beautiful. It's nice. It works for the story. I enjoy it. It doesn't take me out of the story, but it also doesn't make me want to hang any of these pages on my wall, because it's nice, but it's not Clamp. Okay, let's just be real. I'm a little biased. I'm biased towards Clamp, and it is what it is. So for me, every other artist's work is going to be good, but not Clamp. Like, there's Clamp and there's good. it's like this. Moving on to the actual story. After Hours follows a young woman named Emmy. She is 24 years old, and she's in that phase of not really knowing what she wants to do with her life. She goes to a club to meet a friend of hers. Her friend ends up ditching her, and that's when Emmy ends up meeting Kay. And Kay is this very self-assured, fun young woman who is, I low-key have a crush on her. I have a crush on her. I love her. Kay and Emmy, they meet at this club, and then they end up leaving together, and Kay's like, hey, do you want to go get a drink somewhere else? And Emmy's like, sure. And they end up at Kay's house, which for me, my stranger danger alarms were going off. No matter how awesome Kay seemed to be, I was also like, Emmy girl, you in danger. Why are you going to someone else's house? I know it's Japan, and people like to say that Japan is like so much safer than the States, but ain't no stranger's house safer than your own. I can tell you that right now, but it all worked out in the end. There was a one-night stand type thing. Some things went down, and I was like, oh, I'm here for this. And from there, their relationship blossoms, but also not just their relationship, but them as people, especially Emmy. Like I said, she's young. Kay is 30 years old, so there's a pretty decent age gap, which, can I just say, I am so happy to see an age gap romance that is between two adults. I don't know how many times I can say this. I do not like age gaps with adults and minors. It triggers me. I get so triggered. Emmy is 24, Kay is 30, and I love how it was portrayed where Kay is this person who has, she's 30, she's grown. She's been doing what she's doing for a long time. She has a pretty steady job, like real job, but then also she does her DJing and event planning on the side, and that's a passion of hers. It's cool to see her and how she moves through the world, whereas Emmy is still, she's a grown-up, she's an adult, but she's still young and learning how to be an adult, or how to be the best version of her adult self, I guess. She's still learning, okay? And let me also add that we're all still learning no matter how old we get, because I'm in my 30s definitely, and I'm still learning things. You don't ever stop learning until you die. That's real fact. I like how they work together. I like that they are learning from each other. The way they come together feels very natural and organic. There's nothing like fetishy about this series. One thing that does kind of scare me away from most GL and BL titles is the possibility of the love, the couples being fetishized. A lot of people read BL, for example, just for the sex scenes, and don't get me wrong, I love a good sex scene. I really do. And I don't care, I do not care about the orientation of the couples as long as they are two consenting adults. I do not care about your gender. I will read a good sex scene. However, when the focus is put so much on the sexual aspect of it, the relationship part, it can be cringy and problematic. And as much as we like to say, oh, well, it's just entertainment and people shouldn't be learning from books, what do you think we learn from on a regular basis? Like, what do y'all think kids read in school? Books. I homeschool my children, and I am actually pretty picky about the books that we read, because whether you realize it or not, we learn things. We learn things from books. There are a lot of books that I read with my oldest for history, and I have to make sure that I double check things to make sure that the books that we're reading aren't like putting things into my kid's head that maybe aren't completely true, or maybe they're views that I'm like, ooh, I don't really agree with that. Hey, let's look at some other things to get some other perspectives. What we consume in the media is very important. That includes books. So I do think it's very important to have at least some material out there that depicts relationships of all kinds in more realistic ways, less problematic ways. And I know there are people that would want to fight me on that. Y'all can fight me, but wait until y'all have kids and you're having to realize, like, oh, wait a minute. I want my kids to grow up with healthy ideas about relationships. So let me make sure that they're reading things that depict healthy relationships. Whatever. Y'all can argue about it in the comments. That being said, I love how this relationship is depicted in this story. It is very realistic. It happens organically. There is no like forcing, because y'all know BL, a lot of those relationships start with one person forcing himself on the other person. Not about that life. This is very, very sweet. They meet, like I said, in a club, and they vibe and they like each other, and then they go home with each other, and it's just very consensual and very natural. And I was like, ooh, yes, I'm so here for how this is going. And there weren't any moments of like, oh, I don't know, like Emmy knew that she liked Kay and wanted to be with her, like, and Kay knew that she liked Emmy, and oh, it's beautiful, it's organic, it's so good. It was so well written. You really get to learn a lot about both characters, and you get to have an understanding of why they make certain decisions. Kay is definitely my favorite character out of all of them. I love her. She is so funny. Oh my gosh, I have a crush, okay? I have a crush on her. She is my waifu. And I never thought that I would ever have a day where I declared that I have a waifu or even a husbando or any of those things, because I'm not really part of the fandom like that. Like, I'm grown. I love her, and if I were single without children and I was, you know, trying to date, obviously she's not a real person. I wish she were. I love her. As you can probably tell, I absolutely love this series. Would I recommend this? Absolutely, 100%. Even to those of y'all who are afraid to read GL or Yuri titles, I urge you to read this one because it is so good. It is so well written. Yes, there is nudity. Yes, there are sex scenes, but they are very tastefully drawn. They're not fetishized. The focus is really on the relationship between Emmy and Kay, but also the focus is really and truly on the individual growth that they both have. Emmy especially, because she is this young adult who is learning what she wants to do, learning about things she's interested in. She mentions in this story that she doesn't have any hobbies, but after, you know, meeting Kay and becoming part of her group of friends who are all in the DJ club kind of entertainment type business, she realizes that there are things that she really enjoys. She ends up becoming a VJ, which I guess a VJ is like sort of like a DJ but with video, and I just loved watching her come into her own and discover something that she loves. What else can I say? Go ahead and pick this up if you haven't. It's great. It's only 3 volumes, so it's a pretty quick read. Just get it. I'm gonna go. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.